I'm Al Karlin. I'm the president and creative director at Karlin+Pimsler. We're a New York-based creative boutique specializing in direct response TV. We do the creative, and then we take it through production. So today I'll be talking to you about the importance of writing a successful creative brief and how to write the creative brief. And incidentally, I have handouts right in front. I didn't realize there was going to be such a big turnout, but there are handouts. We'll do that afterwards, okay? Yeah, okay, we'll do that afterwards. The reason that you would want to write a creative brief is so that you will inspire your creative department or your creative team to come up with winning creative ideas. Who's, oh, all right. A little bit about my background. I come out of the big agencies, and that's my discipline, and I call that my education. So prior to opening up Karlin+Pimsler about 16 years ago, I was the worldwide creative director at Draft, and it was a big global agency at that time, and I was the creative director of 43 offices around the world. And prior to that, I was the creative director at Wonderman, which is the second largest direct response agency, and I was the creative director in the New York office, and I had multiple high-level positions in creative departments over the years. That's a little bit about my background. My partial list of client experience, and I make this joke. I worked on Apple, AT&T, Army, Accenture, American Express, and that's just the A's. I've worked on 51 of the top Fortune 500 clients, solving their creative problems, and dozens and dozens and dozens of other clients that we've worked for in the past. So I come from the advertising field in a very different way. So this brings me to the question, who needs a creative brief? And very simply, everybody does. You do. The creative brief is used in not just every global advertising agency, Thomson, which I've worked for, Ogilvy, Draft. Every advertising agency uses a creative brief, whether it's a small agency and you name it, Middle Atlantic, or in London, and I've worked in London myself. So the creative brief is it's universal. However, you'll see soon how what we use as our creative brief. Everybody has their own. 3 reasons why you need a creative brief. It's a roadmap. I mean, could you imagine taking a 1,000-mile trip from wherever you're starting and you want it to end up without a map or your GPS? You need a roadmap. Or trying to build a building, whether it's a story or 50 stories, without a blueprint. You need to have a roadmap or a blueprint to start your creative, to initiate your creative. Second reason is that it puts everybody on the same page strategically. And I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about your not only your creative team and the agency and the account people who are working on that business, but the client, chief marketing officer, the president of the company, as well as the media agency and telemarketing. Everybody has to be involved with what is the strategy and what is the brand essence. And of course, something that's near and dear to my heart, because I always get critiqued, is that it gives you, as a client, an objective criteria for judging creative, whether it's good or bad. And by the way, you could write a bad creative brief, and the way you know that it's bad is that no ideas come out of it. And I've seen that. So who should write it? Agency, client, to stakeholders? All of the above. The agency, I mean, I've written many creative briefs, and what I like to see is the client writing their creative brief, and we're going to go through that in a second. And what I call stakeholders is not just the president or the chief marketing officer, but it's also the head of sales. I like to see, salespeople writing a creative brief, and even the telemarketing and media. And what happens is that you merge all of these briefs together and you come up with one brief. So what are the guidelines? By the way, I'm sorry I'm ripping through this. They gave me 12 minutes, so I'm like... so what are the guidelines? Well, of course, we call it a creative brief, so we want you to be brief. Anything more than a page is just superfluous. I think that, you have to kind of have that discipline to bring it down to a page, and each item on that, and you'll see those items, each item should be one sentence, maybe two, but one sentence. So the guidelines are, what's the audience? What are they thinking? What do we want them to think? What action to take? We'll see that in a minute. The media and selling points. Okay? We call it, at Karlin+Pimsler, we call it the who, what. This is our version of our creative brief. And I do have handouts here. Everybody's going to get our proprietary version of the creative brief. I don't think I have enough, but all right, thank you. And it's important. So what you see here is the first who are we targeting? Obviously, you as a client, you know who your target audience is. But, the creative people, they're just coming in on the project. And the second what is, what do they think now? In other words, what are they thinking before they see your advertising? The second what is, what do we want them to think? What do we want them to think after they see your advertising? What do we want them to do? Where are we going to reach them? In this case, it's going to be DRTV. And how are we going to convince them? And it's usually an offer and the benefit. Now, I thought that this would be interesting because we just recently, I think in this week's DM News, there was a case study that they picked up, and it was one of our clients, Sunset Awnings. And I figured that this would be interesting. It was a giant success, but this would be interesting because I'm showing a creative brief that was written by the president of Sunset Awning. And, his grammar is not so great, but he's a great businessman. So who are we targeting? Well, it's homeowners with decks and patios, age 45 plus. What do they think now? Well, they believe that umbrellas are cheap but unsatisfactory. It's an unsatisfactory solution. Permanent roof overhangs, which are, a lot of people do that. They block out the winter sun, and awnings are expensive. What do we want them to think after the advertising? A sunset or retractable awning will dramatically improve the amount and quality of time they can and will spend outdoors on their decks and patios because it's 20 degrees cooler under a sunsetter. So that's the reason why. And then secondarily, inside of the house is cooler and you use less air conditioning. What do we want them to do? Call this number now for a $200 savings certificate, a complete information kit showing all the models, etc. Where are we going to reach them? DRTV and radio. We also do radio. And how will we convince them? The $200 savings certificate and brochures showing people fully using their decks and patios. And that was a clue to us what we had to do in terms of the creative, and I'm going to show the commercial now. How do I do that? Just hit. Okay. Oh. Help. So this is the 2-minute. We did a 2-minute. We did a 60. Needs sound.
You know, ever since the Rogers got that Sunsetter on.
Did you start from the beginning? It's, you're eating up my 12 minutes. It's always about technology. Well, you know, many times I've been in presentations and I've done shadow puppets, and usually works out better than the creative. No sound? You kidding? I thought we tested this. Yes, go ahead. Yes. They, as far as I know, because we don't handle that, all we do is creative. We don't do the media, but I believe that there was an IVR, and you make that choice, and or you go. A lot of people went online. You know, many people watch television commercials these days with 2 screens. So you're in front of your little mobile phone, or you're in front of a laptop, iPad, whatever, and they just jump right to the website. So if you went to sunsetter.com, boom, you're in. So, yeah. Well, we in this case, okay. In this case,
You know,
I'm pardon?
ever since the Rogers got that Sunsetter awning, they've been unbearable.
Why, just because they're always outside having fun on their patio, even in the hottest days?
Exactly. Just trying to show how rich they are.
Well, I heard they saved $200 off the price.
Impossible.
No, it's true. I hear Sunsetter is offering folks a $200 savings certificate just for calling up to get information. They're not rich. They're just smart.
You mean you and I could be sitting outside having fun on our patio, just like they are, instead of stuck in here with the air conditioning running and all the blinds closed?
All we gotta do is call.
Now you can make the smart move too by finding out all about Sunsetter retractable awnings. A Sunsetter will turn your patio or deck into an outdoor oasis.
We could fit all of our friends underneath that awning.
Just call for a free information kit and you'll also receive a $200 savings certificate. Join the hundreds of thousands of satisfied Sunsetter owners and really start enjoying your patio or deck.
That's my casserole dish.
It opens and closes in less than 60 seconds for the ultimate in ease. It can make your backyard up to 20 degrees cooler, no matter how blistering the sun is. And it will also cool off your house, so you save on energy costs.
I mean, it would be great to get out of this house once in a while.
A Sunsetter awning adds value to your house and lets you have so much fun outside, rain or shine.
Look at them. They're having such a great time.
Don't wait. Call now to get your $200 savings certificate.
Did you call?
I called.
Oh, now maybe my mother will finally come visit.
Great.
Call this number now to receive your free information kit, DVD, and $200 savings certificate.
1-800-421-5251. 1-800-421-5251.
Yeah. So just very quickly, because I'm running out of time. So just the results were somewhat amazing. There was a head-to-head test. We actually did 2 spots. There was a head-to-head test against their control, and the Jealous Neighbors, that's what that was called, commercial, generated 38% more leads for their direct-to-consumer business. And they also have a dealer network, and it increased their dealer network sales over 140%. And it's still going strong. They actually renewed the talent on the commercial. It's doing so well. And what's so funny is that the 60 is doing better than the 120. So therefore, their media dollars are, basically doubled. So, we're really very excited about that. And you can read more about that in this week's DM News. So 3 reasons why you need a creative brief. It's a roadmap or a blueprint for ideas and concepts, puts everybody on the same strategic page, and it gives an objective criteria for judging creative. And that's it. That's all I got. Thank you.